Okay, so in this video, we are going to talk about how to support and extend the Return to Workplace solution for Microsoft. This is a Power Platform solution used to help organizations, manage their facilities and help their employees return to the workplace safely. So what I'm showing here is the Return to Workplace solution, the Canvas app editor. As you can see, we have the screen landing page, a screen called check-in facility for floors, for times, for registering guests, statements, etc. So in here, typically what will happen is you'll see employees will go get a day pass, they'll pick a facility, and they'll be able to get a QR code and run through that. So in this case here, we're just going to talk about how to quickly support it. You can see I have a red X here. So by looking at that, I can down click on it, click in the edit the formula bar. Typically, it'll navigate me to the formula bar here. If I click in it, I can scroll around and see if there's any sort of red error messages. As you can see here, I'm getting one. If I hover over, I can see something, the error message and potentially how to resolve it. So in this case, the name is invalid, so the identifier is not recognized. Maybe it's saying that the user ID on the employee table is not valid. For things like this, if you want to kind of look and see what's going on with the employee, you can click on the button over here that says data. For the most part, you should see either, in this case, this would be a collection, but some of these would be actual tables from, in this case, Dataverse. So if you see these little green boxes that say collections, these are collections that are created within the app itself. And then these here would be gray or green, depending on what color it is today. These are coming from the Dataverse itself, or what you would call the back end. So you can, refresh these if you make any changes, etc., by clicking refresh here. So look at these and try to, resolve that. When you want to see what's actually happening when it's making calls to Dataverse, there's this button here. In Advanced Tools, there's Monitor and Test. For Monitor, you can click Open Monitor, and it'll open up something like this, and you'll see all the steps that are happening and so forth. So that's from previous run. If I clear it, I can actually click play here and get day pass, choose where I want to go. In my case, I could type in house, and I can choose, whatever dates I want. So in here, you'll see I added the notify method that allows me to write to the console itself, so I can kind of see what's going on. How that works is here. If I close out of this, if I go to the select time, which was the form I was on before I moved, there's this next button here. So I can click on it. Sometimes it'll open up this data card, but you can kind of nav within it and start looking. In this case, it's the button start, and I look for the unselect. And on here, I can do some validation that I have here, and I can see I'm navigating to screen select floor. So this is the actual move to the next screen. So I'll go look at the select floor, and then on visible, this is where you can see I'm doing a notify. So I'm just confirming I'm doing check-in start and check-in end, because I'm using those for checking for daily occupancy. So it just helps me understand when I'm debugging it. Definitely when you push this to production, you don't want to necessarily have this sprinkled in everywhere. Some techniques I've seen that are good practice is to have a kind of a debug page as well. That also helps you with stuff like that you could have just a simple page that on visible can print out all of your variables you're using or your tables, so you can kind of get kind of more information without necessarily adding the notifies everywhere. So that's for that. For the screen statements, which is what actually will go create records in the create bookings within the backend, we can see we have a button next to. And here we could start seeing, we see a bunch of conditionals that nest and do certain things. What I typically look for are words like patch. Things like here again, there's a patch, there's a set. These all tell me that it's writing to Dataverse. So if I were to kind of go through this and get to the page I want. So let me step back to the floor where I was at before, and we'll go look at the monitor tool when it's run. So I'm going to pick the kitchen. I give my information here. When I clicked I agree on the statements, I should now get, everything works. I should get my QR code to be in the kitchen at 8:30 to 9. If I go here, this is the published app version. Okay, so let me step it back. Let's go run this one more time. Let me go ahead and clear out of these other ones here. Start new. So we'll just close this. Okay. Go launch the monitor tool. This will go. We'll start it over. We'll just pick a future booking. Hit play. Our day pass. House. We'll choose a day. Let's choose 26. This is a custom component, by the way. You can look online for how to add that there. Choose next. Set. I agree. And when this goes, we'll have our booking. And then you can see I have all this different stuff I'm adding. So in this case, I have get rows, etc. And what we should see is clear collect. See these functions. These actually go out to the Dataverse to get information. We should also see when we're writing records how to create row and so forth here. So there's our create row, which I can see I made a request to the backend API to create an employee booking. This is the table we're using, MSFT employee booking. And here's all the data points I added. It's me as system admin, what my date was, facility, employee ID, etc. And here's the response. You want to get a 201 or 200 level response. If you get a 400, you should see kind of a red X here, and you can kind of troubleshoot it. This is the formula, shows me, highlights exactly which one this was, which is pretty helpful here. So if I wanted to start extending it, so in my case, I added the employee time and start. I can see here that it ran and tested. If I want to run this myself, I can take some of this information and recreate it using popular tools like Postman or Fiddler to do that. So that would be an example of how to support it and somewhat extending it here on the front end. If I want to go to the back end, you can see on my solutions here, I have the future bookings, which is here. I've added it on top of the return to workplace solutions here. So not really changing any of the core stuff within those solutions. So I'm adding, I have the daily occupancy table and the guest registration table based on some extensions I added. I had to add some dates to these. So for instance, on guest registration, if I wanted to add when they were coming in, I would open this, and you can see in columns I added arrival date. If you see prefixes, typically this is your custom stuff. So in this case, we have an MCS prefix. If you want to add a column, you can click this and choose what you want. Here, text, dates, what have you. When you're done, there'll be a little save button down here in the bottom right. You can click on that, and that'll fix that. When you're done, you'll go back to the future bookings and change it here. So that would be for changing the common data model. For changing the business logic, in this case, I'm working with the update daily occupancy flow. You can go inside of it and open it up here. You'll see at the beginning I have the first box is going to be the trigger. So what is happening? It looks like I'm creating on employee booking. So when an employee booking is created, when we saw this screen, it created the booking. That was this create row. This create row created a employee booking, as we can see here. When this happens, this in the background, this is a background process. We know that this create employee booking. So this actually fires off. So if I wanted to confirm, I can actually see that 21 seconds ago, 2 minutes ago, this thing failed and succeeded, and I can go support it, monitor it, and look and see what happened. And here, though, if I needed to change it, I could open up here, just confirm this is the right one. Look at whatever I'm doing. In this case, we're getting daily occupancy. I had to modify this to work with the arrival times. We're doing future bookings versus the date here. In the condition, we're checking to see if I got rows back. If I didn't, I'm going to go create a daily occupancy. And here is the arrival time start and end that are new fields. These get added when you change the common data model. And you can choose here, you can simply close whatever is there if you need to change it. And you'll see this pop-up box will happen. Depending on what you're trying to grab, you have to see which grouping it's in. So in my case, I want to use the trigger. So when the employee booking was created. So look at this top part, get area, get daily occupancy. See, get daily occupancy includes arrival time start, but that's not the one I want. I want the one from the employee booking. So I'm going to keep scrolling. When a record is created, updated, or deleted, that's the trigger in this case. So I'm going to look for start arrival time and do that. These purple boxes here contain expressions, meaning they have functions you can add fields in here. So in this case, UTC now is like, what's the date of this thing running? Formatting date time is actually taking the trigger output. So it's taking the arrival time start and just formatting it to just show the actual date and a kind of a shorthand date there. So when you're done, you can hit save. And then when you save this will be going live. So when you're doing this work, make sure you're doing it in a non-production workload. If you're just working on net new functionality, or if you're supporting, you may be working in production here. So that should pretty much cover it. One final thing, if you start working to a little bit more advanced topic, if you kind of struggle with finding where calls are happening as well, or where code may be versus having to navigate through the tool here, there's a really neat community tool called the Power Apps Language Tooling, which I believe is and in here, it's just it's more of an advanced topic. What this lets us do is unpack the tool and see the actual source code. I'll give you a quick demo of this here. I'll pull up employee booking and show you once it's already extracted. Just follow the rule, the steps. It's pretty straightforward here to unpack the MS app file. To get the MS app file, all you have to do is go get the solution or get the save the package itself. Once you get it, I'm going to drag this over. I'm just going to go open up the right folder. I'll show you. This will load. Here's my folder. I have a item called source. Inside of source, here's my actual app. I can see the source here. So here's like the screen facility search and this statements. What's neat is I can see the code for onVisible. It's all here. So what's the quick value add is I can just search and say something like employee booking. And I can see exactly which files it's in. And this is expanded, but you can see here if I want to, I could scroll down a little bit here. Once I get into these here with the exclamation point, this is the screen. So I can see within check-in facility, it's there, it's in the app, it's in the screen passes, it's all over the place. This whole app is designed for employee bookings. So I can click on statements, quickly click here and see employee bookings. So that tool is definitely helpful for, at a minimum, for at least helping you quickly, find what you want there. Let's take a look at that. For the code, for the documentation, let's make sure we're familiar here. Return to workplace, extend the solution. So if you scroll to the top here, definitely follow all of these guides, review this. This is free learning that's here, including best practices, how to get working with ALM and solutions as you package your changes and push them across. Guidance on copying apps, security roles. Here's the ERD. Fairly complex, but I think once you start working with it, you'll understand it. The core tables here, Here's our return to workplace, which we've covered already: employee bookings, daily occupancies, guest registrations, and then so forth. And down here, we have the Power Automate flows. In our case, we demoed the employee booking update daily occupancy. So create an update occupancy when employee booking is created. So that's pretty much it. If you want to see the changes I've made, I believe it's here. It would be this RTW. I'll have to publish this as a private right now, but inside of here you can see the work that was done and the extracted one. So if you don't want to work with the Power Apps language tooling, just want to look at the code, you just open this up and it'll show you all the source here. That's this one. All right, thank you for watching.